Dan, all right, so it's summertime. We're going into fall very soon. And right now it is super hot, but there's some muggy days. And there's a lot that can happen in these attics and in basements. And I know you want to touch upon ventilation. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about that, where you see problems, where you see things working out well, what's right, what's not. So go ahead, brother, take the mic.
Thanks, Emilio. So one of the biggest causes of mold is improper ventilation, either too little of it or too much of it. And you've got to strike a happy balance somewhere in between. Most of the mold remediation that we do is done in attics, and that's because everybody has heard of a house that can't breathe. Well, it can't breathe because it doesn't have the proper ventilation. What is now required is a ridge vent and open soffit vents. Now, just because you have those two doesn't mean that you're going to be safe, because quite frequently there are DIYers that, or just improperly installed insulation by a professional, where they clog the soffit vents. Even though they put in the styrofoam baffles,
Yep.
if you don't have some airflow, the air cannot come in through the soffit vents, travel up through the bays, and then exit through the ridge vent.
Yep.
It's very important that if you don't have those styrofoam baffles, that you pull your insulation back about 6 inches to create that necessary airflow. It's a convection effect. It sucks it in through those soffit vents and then exits through the ridge vent. Now, what I was talking about with too much ventilation is if you do have those two, and you have a gable vent as well, that's too much.
Yep.
Because the gable vent will actually interrupt with the proper airflow. It will confuse the airflow, and it won't work. It will just disrupt it. Another thing with ventilation is you don't want to vent your bathroom fan through the soffit vents, because as you're pushing out the damp, humid air from your shower, it's going to be sucked in by nearby soffit vents. So that has to go through the roof. So if you do that, you're pretty much going to be pretty good. But it's not just these hot, humid days there, Emilio. It also happens in the winter. I've opened up a scuttle into an attic and climbed in, and it has actually been like raining on me, because the roofing nails have formed ice on it, and
they look like
then when they melt, they look like the icicles you hang on a Christmas tree, and they are actually icicles. What you want to do is you need to have that airflow, that convection effect. And you also need to insulate properly your scuttle cover so that you're not letting in the hot air to go and take the humidity and form on those frozen roofing nails, making it solidify and then melt as it warms up.
Wow.
Now that's an attic. In a basement or a crawl space, I've just said that ventilation is totally important. You want to do the exact opposite. You want no ventilation. You want to seal those up and then get in proper dehumidification.